Hi Scorpio, welcome to the second half of January 2017 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. Before I lay out the cards, I just want to give you a heads up. On the 27th of January, there's going to be a new moon in your fourth house of home and family in the sign of Aquarius. So also it's going to be at 8 degrees. So just see if you have any points, like if your sun or your rising sign of Scorpio is around that degree point, because then they'll hit that too. And or any other fixed signs. The other fixed signs are Leo, Taurus, and well, I already said Aquarius and Scorpio, so those are the 4 fixed signs. So anyway, new beginnings in family. Maybe it's buying a home, closing on a home, stuff like that. Maybe you have a new addition to the family. And maybe some old issues cropping up. Okay. Very interesting. A lot of major arcana cards. Possibly a very pivotal point for you in 2017. This is only a 2-week period. So I've been doing other readings before yours, and I did get a couple signs that had, mostly minor arcana. So it's like day-to-day stuff, but this looks like pretty special stuff going on. At the heart of the reading is a card that is associated with possible deceptive behavior, somebody stealing. This is a general reading, so this could apply to your work life or your private life. If this is in the workplace, somebody could be conspiring against you. I got this for another sign in a similar position. The way that particularly, this has always been the case, obviously, but now, because of the circumstances of our society, a lot of people are getting triggered, which is kind of like become a joke term, but they're getting triggered into this scarcity consciousness, and they're doing underhanded things because they're fear-based. They're living in this, if somebody feels like their job is at risk, they could possibly do underhanded things in order to maintain it. And maybe they're not typically the type of person to do that kind of thing. It doesn't excuse it, that's for sure. Hopefully it's not you. I doubt it is, because in terms of the signs, I see Scorpios being one of the more morally intact signs. But maybe somebody is doing this in your workplace. Maybe they're stealing your ideas, your intellectual property. That's also a possibility. In private, it could be a cheating situation. And in that situation, while I don't think that Scorpio necessarily would be more inclined to cheat, there may be some of you who have, kind of like are on the down low. This is Scorpio tends to be quite secretive in their behavior, and this kind of a secretive, kind of slinking around behavior. This could also involve an air sign or have air signature. So we're looking at Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We do have that new moon in Aquarius, so that might be some kind of an Aquarian who is featured in your life at the moment. And, for you, now, again, I don't think that Scorpio is one of the biggest signs to cheat. However, any sign is capable of doing so. So you may have been doing something like that, and it was because you could not decide between two people, and maybe you're just like trying to, stall or, postpone the inevitable of having to leave a certain person because it's not working out. What this suggests is that because of the death card, which you are connected to this card, by the way, is that it's going to leave, whether you like it or not. Something will give. Something's got to give. And also that something is gone. A relationship that you assumed was, maybe you thought still had something in it. Maybe a marriage that you were trying to save is gone. And it could be that the other person is having that decision, that they're trying to decide. Or that both of you are kind of clashing. If this is an Aquarius, I could totally see it, because Aquarius and Scorpio form a square. And when two signs form a square, they tend to have a hard time cooperating. They tend to have, because, like especially fixed signs, they tend to be very stubborn and set in their ways, and it's hard for them to negotiate and to see the other person's point of view. So there can be a lot of, being at loggerheads, in other words. So, it's funny. In this reading, I see marriage and divorce as being themes, okay? Now, I do feel that some people are going to be, getting divorced. Maybe, but at this time, this is the challenge card, the Justice. So you may feel like you are resistant to that, which wouldn't surprise me. You may feel like you want to save the marriage. But I'm thinking that as a higher message, this card is not necessarily pointing to the current relationship in question, but pointing to what your goal was in getting into this, is that you wanted joy, you wanted happiness, and you wanted family unity. And maybe you didn't get any of the above. In talking about career matters, because this can encompass any area of your life, holding on to a job that is not a healthy environment, that you don't trust the people around you, that does not honor your work, is trying to take from you, it's fruitless, because it's going of its own accord, whether you like it or not. And again, this card can be a card of abundance too. It doesn't even have to be about marriage. So there is something that is worth pursuing, that may be on the horizon, because I'm getting some wonderful cards. But I want to say that this card of the Justice as a a challenge card, is that sometimes, now this happens quite a bit, where people feel cheated in a situation. They say it's not fair. And what happens is, it's true, sometimes, and it could be like, if it's a work situation, you can really feel like people have it in for you, and you may be absolutely right. And you might say, this is totally unfair. And it hooks you into this sense of hopelessness, or helplessness, I should say, because you can see very plainly that you are being violated in some way, and you don't know what to do, because sometimes, they tell you have all these recourse that you can take, and all this stuff, resources, maybe human resources, and the human resources person is covering for your boss. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt and tore it to shreds, because it's really, that's the way life works, doesn't it? It's not fair. Life is not fair. But you have to be able to dance with that unfairness, and you have to be able to not get hooked into it. The best way is to say, maybe it's my karma or something, and just call it a day. Don't look at yourself as being a victim, because what will happen is it'll send you on a downward spiral. Actually, speaking of the opposite of a downward spiral, you are on an upward spiral. You have the Wheel of Fortune. So, good riddance to bad rubbish, on to better things. You see the guy who's falling off the wheel. You're on top of the wheel. You're on top of the world right now, whether you know it or not. You may think your world has, the bottom has fallen out of your world, but it hasn't. In either area of your life, if it's business or personal life, you're on an upswing. Saturn was in your sign, between, I don't know, was it 2013 and 2015, somewhere along that line. So those might have been more of the years, or even like the couple years before that, like maybe like 2010 to 2013 or something like that, where it was really like, I think, maybe the most challenging for you, but not now. Because you are now going through a new cycle, and you're establishing yourself. And now Saturn is in your second house of earned income, and it can really structure your life. So if you're in a place where people are taking your intellectual property or trying to undermine you in some way. Maybe they're trying to usurp your authority and steal your position. You may be at the end of the line with those people. But it's like there are better days ahead. Better days ahead, better days ahead. Okay? And same thing with love. These are goals, right here. Love, marriage, children, happiness. The outcome is the Devil card. This can connect to the sign of Capricorn. So if there's somebody that comes in, or maybe you already know this person, that may be who is there for you. Also, work on, as you're going along, work on issues that connect to the Devil card. Work to what is it in your life that you need to let go of, that no longer serves you, that connects to issues of, compulsion and, like addiction, but it doesn't have to be substance abuse. It can be to power. That's a biggie for Scorpio. And that can really, maybe in subtle ways, you have hurt yourself in the past by being too concerned about appearing invulnerable, appearing like you had all your stuff together, and that you never are insecure and things like that. And maybe other people found it hard to trust you or identify with you because they didn't feel that you were like them. And so maybe you need to show more of your soft side. Maybe you need to reveal more of yourself. Maybe you keep other people at bay, and you don't reveal, like other people are more of an open book than you are. And you use that as a way of, a Scorpio person can make other people bare their souls to them. And meanwhile, they've got all their cards close to their vest about their own life. And that's not fair. That's not fair. You have to give of yourself too. And you have to be willing and have the guts to allow other people, not assume that they're going to use that information against you. There really is not anything anybody can use against you, if you're not ashamed of your past. The other thing too is, with materialism, and it's really for Scorpio. I don't see many Scorpios as materialistic. I see them as, like the other water signs, more security-minded and sometimes too obsessed with that. Water signs tend to have a deep need for security, financial security, because especially if they grew up with a very modest life, or a life where it was financially difficult. Water signs retain their memories are very vivid, so things are never far from their past is never far from them, and so they can kind of live in the past and not realize that childhood is no longer part of their story. I mean, in terms of their reality. So just make sure that you're never like staying with a job because of money, or staying in a marriage because of the person is financially is affluent or anything like that, because it's almost like selling your soul. And and Scorpio is very soulful, so that's one thing that would be very sad if that were to happen. Let me pull an additional card, just because I never like to leave on the devil. It's just one of those cards that speaks of limitations more than empowerment. Okay, there we go. Boom. Financial independence. Okay, that is a nice card for money. So never fear. See, I was just talking about fears, and then there we go. Boom. And this could also apply to anybody who's afraid of leaving their partner because of the drop in income, is that you have it. The universe has your back, you have it. Obviously, there are extenuating circumstances on occasion if you have children and things like that. I can't speak to those, and you have to make your own decisions, but just wanted to give you that additional card. I love when that happens. Anyway, Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a groovy end of January. Bye.